It's Mancow. This is it. It is Monday Night Live, and we are live from Muller Manor. The cicadas this year are going to be more cicadas than we've ever heard. It's going to be a cacophony where we live. Not heard since the time of Thomas Jefferson. All kinds of different types of cicadas are going to be coming up in Illinois again this summer, and I like the sound. Chicken face. I am the Mancow Muller. There's lots of Matts. There's lots of Marks. There's lots of Johns. There's lots of Lukes. There's one Mancow, and you got him, and you're going to like where we're going tonight, I think. Did I just go dead? No. Okay, there we go. We are. We've got some really beautiful lesbians down the street. My friend has been helping them for 6 months. They want to have a kid, and is it sounding okay, Ralph? That's fine. Anyway, they want to have a kid, and he said, how do you want to do it? She's both of them. He's with both of them. It doesn't matter who gets pregnant. They're doing it the old-fashioned way. They said, we don't hate men. We're lesbians. So he's been helping them to get pregnant. And then he told me after a few drinks that he's had a vasectomy. So what do you think of that? I was watching the 80s videos, which are the only ones I can handle on MTV. Do you know the Michael Jackson video? Beat It. There's no holes on the pool table. Interesting. Or is it? Have you seen all the ads to date a Ukrainian? Isn't that sad? Because of Biden's blunders. There's no reason for us to be in Ukraine, my opinion. And, we wouldn't put up with a Cuban Missile Crisis, and Russia doesn't want our chemical weapons and our biological weapon factories there, and they're there. And that's where our money's being laundered in Ukraine. And we don't, we would want it on our border. We wouldn't take it from Canada or Mexico. That's my take on it. And so all their men are often killed. Enormous numbers of death because of Biden's blundering. We had no war under Trump. So now I see all these ads to date Ukrainian women. Isn't that wonderful? All the men are killed off, and hey, you can get a Ukrainian girl now cheap. It's wow. It's really sick. I told you about how my beloved father-in-law, the sweetest guy, really just a nice guy, was his favorite son-in-law. He only had one daughter, but he passed away. And boy, they had the cure for everything as long as he had insurance. I really just can't believe what a racket the medical community is. And, her family, my wife's family, fell for it. They didn't know. Well, we want him to live. We want him to live. So they had a shot, 1,000 here, 2,000 here. It's funny. The doctors always have nice cars and beach houses, don't they? They always have second property somewhere. And do you know they don't say dead anymore? Do you know that? You don't die. You're not dead. You're unalive. That's the politically correct thing now when hospice comes in. You're unalive. Michael Obama going to be president. What do you think? Do you believe the Michael Obama thing? Do you believe that theory? I should say I do not. I think that Michael Obama is a woman. You heard it here first, okay? Do you know about Operation Garden Plot? I want to do a whole episode on it, but I want you to look it up. Operation Garden Plot. This is the setup where we are locked down under martial law, and that's what they're setting us up for right now. So get ready for it. Operation Garden Plot. If you want to look it up. Wait, let's show a picture, Ralph. I got a great guest tonight who wants to get rid of social media. Ralph, go ahead and show a picture. Show something. Say it with me. Look at those low rates. Okay. Okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, Hillary. Old Ghislaine Maxwell is writing a tell-all book right now. I wonder if it'll be legit. I would like to see that. Okay, next. We don't have to do them all at once. Let's go back. Go back to me. Come back to me. We'll go to Rick here in a second. I have milk. Have you ever had this happen? I have milk. I have a gallon of milk. And I put it down on the conveyor belt at the grocery store. The guy there, John, over at the Jewel. And this guy grabs the boundary bar, the bar you're supposed to put between your groceries. Like I'm going to try to sneak in my milk. Like I wanted him to buy my milk. The bastard. And, gives me the look. You know that look when you cut somebody off or you make a mistake and you're the jerk and they pull up beside you and they want you to see him? He made a point that I saw him. Boundary bar, your milk over there, bastard. They banned a sitting president from Twitter, impeached him twice, jailed his supporters, raided his home, indicted him, 4 times, filled our country with soldiers. These are not migrants here to pick our letters or whatever the lamestream media is telling you. They did all that, to fight us, to crush us. It's coming with BLM and Antifa and all these illegals. This is going to be an army they're going to turn on us, a boot at our throat, and then they call us fascists. Bastards. That's the truth, folks. And that's the tooth, the whole tooth and nothing but the tooth. My tooth fell out. If you want it, you can clone future generations of greatness from this tooth. There's a lot of DNA in here. If you want it, I will send it to you on Instagram. I don't want it. Can you believe my children don't want it? So you can have my tooth. You can have it. What do I look like on Instagram? There's lots of fakes. By the way, I've complained. I've gotten my lawyer, the Hebrew Hammer, on it. Nothing. Jeffrey Leving's been on it. Michael Young, all these people, they've written letters. Nah, they got lots of fake accounts to water me down on Instagram. Can you put up what the real Mancow looks like on Instagram, Ralphie Poo? Can you do that? Huh? Don't tread on me, you bastards. Don't tread on me. There you go. That's the real me. You see that painting up there? See that picture? That's the real me. The rest are fakes. They don't want you to know it. Okay? They don't want me to give the truth about the CDC, the Center for Deception and Corruption. They don't want me to talk about how you can get rid of it. They don't want me to talk about how the Navy has once again lowered requirements. You remember that? People were too stupid to be cops. People were too stupid to be firefighters. They're too fat, too effed up. Probably racism, right? So they kept making it stupider and stupider and stupider. And now look what we got. A lot of stupidity. Yeah. Stephen Hawking. You've heard some of the stories about him, yeah? What do you think hell is like when you're in a wheelchair? I got to think it's the worst. I bet his cell in hell, Stephen Hawking, I bet it has a treadmill. Just an idea. I was in a plane crash almost. Barely made it. And my biggest thought was, I wish I'd helped more. All of this stuff here at Muller Manor didn't matter to me. The #1 tattoo, you know what it is? No regrets. There he is, Stephen Hawking in hell. No regrets. What a stupid tattoo. That's the #1 tattoo in the world. No regrets. I have regrets. What BS is that? You get better through your regrets. You did something wrong. How about acknowledging and not doing it? No regrets, man. No regrets. And tribal, something tribal. Or Chinese, something Chinese. That'll be great for your new Chinese masters that Biden is selling out for. Do you know Biden has done more for Ukraine than America? Yeah, and yet they keep telling me how much everybody loves Biden. Do you believe the criminal liberal media? I do not. It didn't start with the gas chambers, by the way. It started by demonizing those that didn't think like them. Have you seen the news lately? Christians, Catholics, anyone that asks questions, white Christians. Oh, man. Oh, boy. Yeah, you're the problem. You're the problem. You want to date someone of your own race? You're probably a racist because you are. I think do black women ever date black guys? Do white women ever date white men? Do Chinese people ever date? Ah! 2, 1.
All right, you're on, Mancow. You're back.
All right, so we just had something happen we've never had happen. Never had happened in my life. I didn't know you could even do this. I felt a shock through my headphones, and we went off. That's why I was going like this. I don't know that anyone's going to see this. I guess we'll tag it on later. And I was just talking about Ukraine and Biden and money laundering and how a baby is born healthy, and all of a sudden they got to inject it with a million things, and how it didn't start with gas chambers, vilifying your enemy, and then just a shock to the system. Really something. And I want to talk also about the father in the UK that lost custody of his 8-year-old son. He didn't want his 8-year-old son to become something else. Prince Charles has cancer. This guy really pushed all of the big government everything and has allowed, London to become a small little Saudi Arabia. Where else do I want to talk about? I didn't have time. Cureleaf, this weed place near my house. I want all kinds of information. I continue to tell people, You don't want to get weed from the government, man. They're going to take your guns and they're going to tell you, you smoke weed, you can't have a gun. That's really coming. And then there was an ad, a new escape room near my house. I don't get how that's fun, an escape room. My dad's Ford. I'm looking through some of the paperwork. My dad has a Ford. I have a Ford. Went to Roche. And my owner manual warns me not to drink the battery fluid. My dad's Ford from 50 years ago explained how to adjust the valves. You think we're getting stupider? All right, let's bring in our guest. Okay, let's big round of applause. Let's bring him in. Bring him in, bring him in, bring him in. Okay, here we go. And you can just bring this up. And do you have his name? Your name is Phil? Phil Sadler? Okay. Phil, come on in. This is Phil Sadler. And that's it on the microphone. We're going to have to share a mic. This is a Mickey Mouse operation. Not that we work for Disney. We don't like Disney. Okay, sit down. You're not on camera yet. And can you see yourself?
Unfortunately.
Okay, so you're going to want to look right up in there.
Okay.
And what is the premise of the book? Into the mic.
Are we on actually?
We're actually on.
Oh, okay. The book is called There's No App. Oh, sorry. There's No App for That, The Rewiring of a Planet.
So you're against apps. All of these things I have on my phone, you're against social media.
No, I'm not against apps. The book's title, There's No App for That, is a play on the phrase, there's an app for that, which has been iconic since the invention of the cell phone, smartphone.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yes.
Interesting. Sorry. So, okay. So that.
Yeah. Well, what is there not an app for? I guess I'm missing the point of the book. And again, you got to get right up into that. You got to speak up.
Okay. So once again.
No, but just explain. I don't get it.
You don't get it. Okay. Well, the name of the book is called There's No App for That.
What's it about?
What's it about? It's about the rewiring of a planet because of smartphones and applications and all of this data and stress and anxiety, like I'm going through right now, and I'm not even using my smartphone. So you want me to look at? Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, look at.
I wasn't expecting this.
Well, I don't know what you were expecting, but this is what it is.
Okay.
And you knew that I did this out of my house, and you wanted to be on the show to pimp your book.
Okay.
And okay, so Elon Musk announced, if it's real, that Neuralink, which is the size of a quarter, has been tried out on a human now.
Right. And
there's many hairs, little wires going in, and then we're going to be able to access everything on our phone via our brain. What do you think of that? The Neuralink. I don't know if you could hear me, folks. The Neuralink, where we are connected to the internet and we can look up anything with our brain, and then we are all tied together. Transhumanism. How do you feel about that?
I think what you were referring to was the partum cerebellum, which is the part of the brain you were referring to. I don't think we're going to be around long.
Hey, what is with you?
What do you mean?
No, I mean, so I didn't say I said brain. I got to say the specific part of the brain.
Okay.
Who gives a shit?
Okay. Well, here's my point.
You're in my house.
I understand.
You're in my house.
I understand that, and I appreciate that, and thank you so much. You brought me here. I appreciate it. I didn't necessarily expect this. To answer your question.
Well, what did you expect?
Well,
this is my house. This is the nicest house in Chicago.
Okay.
Muller Manor is a museum. People pay to get in here.
Okay. I'm just going, Mr. Muller, I'm just going off the energy that you're giving me right now as I walk in. I appreciate the incense and the choral music that was playing in the supposed green room you have. You have a very beautiful house, and I respect the fact that you made your own money and you have a great show and you have your opinions. But the question that you're asking me is, what is about the future and what Elon Musk said? I would say that I don't think we're going to be I don't think we're going to be around longer. I don't think we're going to be around as a species before we get to that point. So, what is the most vital part of any civilization, any population? Communication. Communication has been disrupted because of these smartphones, because there's so much information being given to us at any point of the day, and then all of this information that is given to us is all dependent on app developers of software. And if you have software that's made by this one company and software that's made by this other company, then that's not going to gel. You've got people with iPhones, you got people with Samsung phones. They don't have the same apps. The code is different. So my point is the communication gets messed up. And because of the communication getting messed up, it causes problems, which causes stress, which causes anxiety, which causes worst case scenarios in people that already have predispositions of psychotic behavior.
Wow, you are wound tight, brother. Look, if I could push a button, get rid of social media. I have daughters who are on there. I have them doing the stupid dances. I don't know what it is where every lovely girl has to get on the internet and do a stupid twitching spasm. It's weird, man. It is weird. At my house here is Phil Sadler. His book is
there's no app for that.
There's no app for that.
The rewiring of a population.
The subtitle is Rewiring of a Population. You know, when I talk about Miller High Life, I don't always say the champagne of beers. You don't always have to say
well, it's a book title. It's a book which has a title, and then there's a subtitle. So if I'm going to pimp my book, I'm going to tell you the title of the book and the subtitle. All right. I appreciate your Miller High Life.
Anyway, you know, look, technology has always been feared. The man that created fire was beaten to death, but that night they kept warm with his creation. So it can be used for good or bad. You're here. I'm sure someone's using an app to watch us right now. Is this a bad thing? You're promoting your book. You're getting your ideas out. So is this a bad thing?
No. And I think you're missing the point. Obviously, this technology and apps, they help us to achieve the things we want to achieve. But I think people just don't want to understand behind the curtain, there's an evil here. And I only hope that the supposed people who control the world, that they're not too nefarious and they have our best interest in hand, which I doubt they do.
Okay, so what's the answer?
The answer is, well, first of all, you should have one place in your home that has no electronics whatsoever.
I agree with that.
Okay, so you have a place to go and be away from that. And I'm not talking about putting tinfoil on your head and radio waves and all that stuff, although that is something you should be aware of too. The cell phone companies and Apple and all that, they certainly don't want to tell you that there's radio waves being emitted from these phones. And we don't even know where we're going. If you've seen the movie Jurassic Park, you know the famous line from Jeff Goldblum about, and I'm paraphrasing, that we haven't had a chance to really know where we're going before. We're already on this road. And we don't know where we're going. And that's a scary thing. But hey, that's okay. You've got a great video on TikTok and you're making lots of money. So it's great. Well, you can't take money to heaven, can you?
Well, you have a very bleak outlook for a young man. You seem quite unhinged. And I don't think you've...
I don't want to be bleak. Believe me, I don't want to be bleak. I have a son.
I get it. I don't want to be bleak either. I get it.
But when you see the world the way it is, and then you turn on the news and it's just bad news on a constant 24-hour cycle and different variations of that news, it kind of plays into you. And that's the other thing too. People love to watch the news and hear all this stuff on a 24-hour cycle and just have it be white noise in the background. And what that's doing is it's hitting you on a subconscious level. This stuff that's coming at you, hurricanes, floods. And there's a chapter I devote in my book about, people that believe eschatology, which is the study of end times. People want to talk about the end of the world and things that are going on. And believe me, there are floods. There are people that are denying God. There are people that are turning in their family, not necessarily literally, but they're turning them in by exposing them to things that they know are wrong. And I'm very passionate about this. And I wrote this book in 2010 when I felt there was a shift going on. I got the iPhone when it first came out. I was very happy with it. I loved where we were going with how they were, changing the software. I had a Razor phone before that. And what I loved about the smartphone or the iPhone was that it took my contacts and it had a better camera and the software was all nice and it was all laid out very, the graphical user interface was fantastic. But then what ended up happening was around 2010, there was this shift where the iPad had just come out and then the smartphones were really taking off and then people with not much money were able to get
Yeah. Thank you, buddy. Thank you. Go ahead and get him out of here. We've been sabotaged tonight. Something's going on. Thank you.